Welcome to the Straight Red Card. I'm Derek Ritchie with my co-host Brett Corbett, and today we're going to give you a USA versus Brazil preview to the upcoming friendly coming up this weekend. It's this weekend, right, Brett? August 10th.
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday.
Well, why the hell would they do that? August 10th is a Tuesday, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Well. Okay, well, that means that it's on a Tuesday, which means it's not going to be, a primetime weekend spot, but still there's going to be a lot of American fans watching this game because they're still got, their private parts are still tingling from the World Cup, Brett. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So let's look at this Brazil squad, and unlike ours, it is full of fresh faces, except for Robinho is going to be there again. Why? I'm not quite sure. And Dani Alves is going to be there again. But outside of that, nobody on this, Brazilian squad coming up has any more than 16 caps. Hallelujah. I think a lot of Americans wanted to see that from our club.
If you're a Brazilian fan or even just interested to see Pato, it's good to see him on the roster now.
Yeah.
I mean, having some names on there will be a positive for everyone.
They do, and they have a lot of young guys like Neymar, and they're taking a lot of guys from the Santos club, Paulo Henrique, Gonzo, and also just it's mostly a smattering of players who are just kind of coming into their own and just proving themselves, like Thiago Silva from Milan. So,
yeah,
it's a real interesting club. We'll see what they do with it. Yeah, I'm betting you Rafael gets a start there. He plays for Man United. I bet you he gets a start at right or left back there for Brazil at the beginning of this game. And I guess the big news is the United States team usually has its sort of normal group of guys you expected. Tim Howard and Brad Guzan and goalkeeper, so there's not much to talk about there, and they'll probably add one more before it's all said and done.
Yeah, I would imagine it's not necessary because, it's a friendly, and they've already got two guys from Europe. Bringing in a third would be nothing more than just an MLS goalkeeper, and that would be nothing more than just an extra goalie to take shots on.
Yeah, well, maybe you're right. Maybe they just go with two. That's fine. The Brazilians are bringing three. So, it's just kind of a typical thing to bring three. The defenders, we're going with Carlos Bocanegra, who apparently at Saint-Étienne, his new club in France, is, already pretty much guaranteed a starting spot there, so he's not worried. Jonathan Bornstein, who's now with Tigres, or going to be with Tigres soon, apparently his job is pretty solid. Steve Cherundolo just took the captainship at Hanover, so he's solid, so he's coming as well. Clarence Goodson as well, which I hope Clarence becomes the future of our center back spots. And then you've got Jonathan Spector. That was the one surprising to me, Brett, because I think Jonathan should be back at West Ham fighting for a starting spot, in the Premiership for his club.
Yeah, out of all the defenders, he is sort of the surprise because you really do expect to be in preseason and right before the season gets started, you want your players at their clubs. If they're fighting for the spot, they have to be there to fight for the spot.
Right. Especially since he got no playing time in the World Cup at all.
I'm kind of surprised that Bornstein's included because he is going to a new club, and I know it's Tigres, and they didn't have the world's greatest season, but it's still he's going to a new league and with a new club, and I just figured that he doesn't have a guaranteed position per se. I figured that he still had to go there and work for it.
From rumors I hear, he's already locked up the left back spot at Tigres. So that, I guess, and that's one of those things.
I guess it says a lot about their left back spot.
Right. Well, one of the things is they talk to the players and the management prior to calling a player up and say, does this kid need to fight for a spot, or is he more than likely going to play throughout the season? And the word was that, Bornstein pretty much had a spot locked up at left back, so let's bring him in. And plus, he's not that far away. It's not like calling up Cherundolo or Bocanegra.
Exactly.
And the other surprising guy at the defender spot is Chad Marshall. How many times are we going to bring this guy into the national team? And maybe the thought is the more we bring him in and the more chances we give him, as long as he doesn't screw him up, maybe eventually, he's only 25. People don't realize that. He's a lot younger than people think. He's still got a chance at somebody in Europe noticing him and bringing him over there so he can get some experience in Europa League or with some club somewhere, maybe even a lower league and a lower team in English Premier League or Spain or wherever. It doesn't matter. They're still trying to get this kid some exposure.
Yeah, well, he's had a couple years where he's been Defender of the Year in MLS. He really should be. He should have been at that point last year.
Yep.
To have gone over to Europe, and he tried. He went to Germany, and he didn't get a contract. So he came back immediately to the Columbus Crew and signed a new contract, which means that he's going to be in the league for several more years to go.
Right.
I don't see him leaving MLS anytime soon. In fact, he's probably going to finish out his career there. To tell you the truth, because after this next cycle of his contract, he's going to be up towards his 30s, if not in his 30s. I mean, it's probably going to be more towards the end of his 20s.
So why give him a shot and he could still be added? Why not Omar Gonzalez?
I mean, as questionable as some of his performance has been, he is still a quality defender, and he's tall. He has good aerial. He's good in the air. He's good on corners. He has that aspect. But then again, you also got to think, well, so is Gonzalez.
Right.
He's a tall player,
and he's the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He'll be one of the players that we suspect could be the future.
Yeah.
It depends on how he continues to develop. A lot of us, myself included, would have preferred him over Marshall. But I can see Bob Bradley's take on this. Once we get the new coach, or I guess if Bob gets re-signed, we'll find out what's happening with the cycle. But
I was kind of blown away by that. I really don't understand why, unless Omar's saying no, thank you.
No,
that
would never happen.
It just doesn't seem like a real smart decision not to bring Omar Gonzalez in now. And then you get to the midfielders, the Landon Donovan. Obviously, the game's in the United States. He's in the United States. That's not a shocker. Michael Bradley, obviously, talking to his managers, he seems to have locked up his position there, so he has no problem coming to Mönchengladbach. I was surprised by Maurice Adu with Rangers, because it seems to me he's always been battling for a consistent spot in the starting lineup there at Rangers. So
I think his big problem is that he's always battling injuries.
Well, that too. Yeah.
Given the stretches where he's been in health and in form, he's gotten quite a decent amount of playing time. At which point he's gotten several key goals and key results. So I think if he was healthy more often, I think he'd be seeing more field time.
And he played well at the World Cup. And then you have Benny Feilhaber, who is once again playing. Now let's look at this. This is a guy playing now in the second tier of the Denmark soccer leagues. Not even playing in the top league in Denmark. What the hell is Benny Feilhaber doing playing with a relegated Danish team in Denmark? Can you explain that to me?
I can't. I'm surprised nobody, even the promoted teams, I'm surprised that nobody really aimed to pick this guy up. I mean, he's talented. He's a consistent player for the U.S. National team. The only thing I can say right now is that the transfer window is not closed yet.
Nope.
So maybe something will come out, even though nothing's really been rumored.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? Something's got to happen for Benny.
Maybe we'll start something here, and some clubs will start looking at him. Who knows?
He's much. If he would have finished off one or two of those opportunities at the World Cup, I guarantee you he would not be sitting at our house right now, waiting. The real exciting inclusion into this, if you're a U.S. fan, we've all been waiting for a long time, and Jermaine Jones, who scored from Schalke, who has an American father and a German mother, and switched over his allegiance, if you will, to the United States, is on the midfielder roster for this team. And I think anybody who knows anything about Jermaine Jones, he just scored a goal too in one of the friendlies that he was playing for Schalke. This is exciting stuff. And what if this kid, who's going to be, still in his 30s when the next World Cup comes up, I mean, he could still be a real big plus for us.
Yeah, I am just glad that he's healthy and fit. And I can stop listening to all the people bitching and saying, "Oh, if Jermaine Jones is here." Now we can finally see him settle in with the team, find out what he can do. I mean, we already know what he can do, but whether or not he'll fit into the system, which I'm sure he will, I'm sure there's not going to be an issue. It's just nice to finally see some playing time for him.
Yeah, I agree. It's good to see him healthy because at some point, some of the doctors were saying, "Hey, buddy, this is never going to get better." And so it's good to see that happen. Then you have Sasha Kljestan, who scored a goal for Anderlecht in against some real crumbs team there in the Europa. Was it or was it? It was the Champions League qualifiers, and it's a lot of people are poo-pooing him on all the sites, saying, "Oh, Sasha Kljestan, give me a break." But it's time to give this kid another shot, and we'll see what happens.
He certainly left a bad taste in everybody's mouth.
Yes.
Hopefully, I mean, the kid has, like I've said about other people, the kid has talent. Yeah. He needs to find a level of consistency and consistent play, and we just need to go from there. I mean, keep giving him a shot. I mean, who else are we going to pick in right now? I mean, personally, I would like to see Bedoya started over him because Bedoya is consistently seeing playing time with his club, and he is also seeing results.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Bedoya is on the lineup.
He is, and I can't wait. I hope he's. I hope he gets included with the starting lineup.
I hope he does too. And a lot of people are saying, "Well, where's Dempsey?" Well, the fact is that Dempsey has a new manager there at Fulham, Mark Hughes, and he apparently, this is something I heard through the grapevine, said, "Guys, I'd like to play this friendly, but you know what? I need to impress my new manager because I want to start the next season. I don't want to be coming off the bench." And because Mark Hughes apparently already has the idea that Dempsey is a striker and only a striker. Well, there are a lot of rumors. The bottom line comes to this, and it's the same thing for Gooch at AC Milan. They want to impress their managers, their new managers. They don't want to play this friendly because, as far as they're concerned, their future lies in impressing their new managers.
I completely agree, and plus we don't need to have Dempsey at this match. It's one of those things where I also would have liked to have seen Michael Bradley left off simply because I would have liked him to get some rest before the season starts. Hopefully, if he does start, he doesn't play the full match. I'm hoping Bob does a lot of turnover as far as his lineup and stuff, and hopefully we see some fresh face. Not really necessarily fresh faces. We don't have that many fresh faces, but just some players who didn't really see playing time start to see more playing time in this game, at least.
Right. And our forwards are Edson, Buddle, no shocker there. Robbie, Findley, and Hercules, Gomez. And I'd like to see a Buddle, Gomez starting lineup, but knowing Bob, he'll start Findley just for his speed. And I don't know. A lot of people, again, they were really harsh on Robbie, saying Findley stinks, sucks. Why is this guy on this team? But the plain fact of the matter is that Findley has some serious speed, and I guess the thought is that he draws defenders, so let's keep him on the field.
Yeah, I was one of those people who were a little harsh on, not a little harsh, I was really harsh on Findley. I see why Bob Bradley used him the way he did. I just personally saw more potential with starting Buddle or Gomez with Josie. Because I personally think they are the better strikers. And like you said, I see in this situation that Bradley will probably use Findley again like he always has been.
Yep. And
we're probably going to see like Findley and Buddle is my guess, with a Gomez coming off the bench.
Right. And people were criticizing Bradley, hey, where's Davies in this? Well, just a little news, folks. Davies is busting his ass with his club team in France, trying to make sure he gets a starting spot.